Ain't this what they've been waiting for? You ready? I used to pray for times like
Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm Maserati Neesh, and you are tuned in into the Neesh Speaks podcast, where I am giving you financial game, actually free financial gain, so that you can obtain financial gain. And I have a very, very, very special guest with me today, my boy Shujah.
Shujah.
He said, make sure I say it right. Shujah.
You gotta put that iron on it.
You got swag on it, though.
Shujah.
It's like Shujah.
I just hit him with the shoe.
Sure.
No, actually,
that's what I call you, though.
No, I hit
Shu.
him with the more.
More. Okay.
Shujah Moore.
Shujah Moore. So I have Shujah Moore. And Shujah Moore, I met Shujah. I'm going to say Shu. I met Shu probably, 4 years now?
I probably was 3 months removed from a 12-year bid.
He was 3 months removed from a 12-year bid. Yeah. So how long ago was that?
That was 4 years. That was almost 4 years ago. October would be 4 years.
Dang, time
Right?
flying. So I met him, and it's very interesting, the story. I was having a vision board party, and I invited my cousin Salim. And Salim invited his friends, and his friends invited their friend. And Shujah was a part of it.
Yeah.
And it was very, 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 I was very impressed with this brother when I heard him speak. So I was like, he's so articulate, like he's so smart. And to hear his story, I think once he said that he was just released out of prison and he just did a 13-year bid, everybody was like, because we were so in shock because he didn't look anything like, what we like. And so it was just like an aha moment for me, because I'm like, never judge. That's the first thing. And once we heard his story, it just was like so inspiring for me. And then to have seen him progress within the last 4 years is inspiring to me too, because that's what we're going to talk about. That we're going to talk about the challenges and the obstacles that you had to face from you. When you went away, you were how old?
22.
In college,
but with a polluted mind out here, just acting like the rest of these young boys is going, acting crazy right now.
Right.
So yeah, I was going to school and all that, but I wasn't focused.
Okay. And there was an incident.
Oh yeah, so the crime. So
the crime.
Well, wait, hold for a second. Does this? I'm on Neesh Speaks right now. Like,
listen.
Am I a star? Like,
you're a celebrity. You're definitely a celebrity.
Okay,
you're a celebrity.
I'm a celebrity. I like that. But no. In all seriousness, I was lost when I was 22. Really, before that, I was lost. I was carrying guns, and I thought that I was going to be able to sell enough drugs to become a billionaire.
Wow.
And
Deep.
that led to me just acting reckless. And I went out partying one night with some friends, and ran into somebody that I didn't like. We got into a fight, pulled the gun out. He grabbed it. We wrestling over it. Shot goes off, and the bullet hits his friend. It goes to a bouncer, hits his friend, and his friend passes away the next day. So
wow.
I ultimately was convicted of third-degree murder and did 12 years.
Wow, that's deep. So I want to jump right in, because I think that in our community or in society, we don't process everything that goes along with that journey of you coming home, being away for so long. First of all, my son's father was just incarcerated for 2.5 years. And from him never being, like the same story, he never was arrested. He was actually a correctional officer. And he made some pretty bad choices. Right. And he was arrested, and he told me that he spent a tremendous amount of time in the hole. And when I think about me being in my room, and I have a pretty large bedroom, but when I think about me being in my bedroom for a certain amount of time, I'm like, I got to get out and go talk to somebody, like just to have that human interaction, because that is how we were created to interact with each other, to be social. So when I think about somebody being in a hole for 6 months, like that shit is meant to break you.
Definitely.
And it can break you psychologically. It can break you. So I think that I want you to be very transparent in this interview about the challenges from day one when you got out. Like, did you experience anxiety? He said, make sure you're talking tonight. Did you experience anxiety? Were you like, oh my God, this is a culture shock. What the hell is going on in this world? Like, what were some of your experiences?
For sure. That's the mental strife is something that I didn't anticipate. I like to say, it really takes 3 to 5 years to get adjusted to home on the street. And for me to acquire things like a car, crib, and all that came relatively easy. What was hard was the mental adjustment. you know, I started getting anxiety, blood rushing, getting the shakes and feeling anxious just to go get my hair cut, and I didn't understand why. I mean, even to this day, it's still hard for me to get to sleep at night, just adjusting to the pace out here. I heard you earlier talking about like social media and posting, and you know, that's a whole nother aspect of society that I didn't practice for. I wasn't ready for.
Right.
So the adjustment with being around family, I haven't been around them in 12 years. You know, so I love my mom, but you know what? It was like, Mom, I actually need a little bit of space. Like, back up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So things like that. It's just an adjustment, and we really do. I think as a whole in the Black community, mental health is something that's just not promoted and seen as something that we need. It's something that I get to that, or we don't even invest in at all. So yeah.
So one of the things that you just said that stuck out to me, you said it wasn't an issue with me getting a crib and getting a car.
Right.
But that's an issue for a lot of brothers to be away for so long and to maybe not even have a skill set to even get a job or to do something that's going to generate some revenue. Okay. So you said for you that was easy. Why was that easy for you?
It's a good question. I'm still unpacking some of this, but I know that after the first 2 years when I was acting crazy in the county jail, like a lot of us were, I went upstate and I was very purposeful with how I was going to spend the rest of my time. I wanted to educate myself and be prepared for when I got out here. And the only way that I could prepare is knowing how to, you know, have coping skills when I feel angry, understanding what even led me to prison, and really processing those emotions. And I did the best that I could. And then the rest was really just educating myself. So when I came home, I kind of was used to creating a goal, because like I said, I wanted to educate myself. To do that in prison is not, it sounds easy, but it's not easy. You know, you got to be able to navigate and maintain the respect of not only your fellow prisoners, but also the guards. And, you know, that's a balancing act so that you can achieve your goals. So I was used to doing that. When I got out.
So you saying basically in prison, first of all, to me, that's having emotional intelligence, right?
For sure.
For sure. But there aren't a lot of people who even can process stuff the way that you were processing it, to even understand that this is what I got. This is the lead up to me getting out and to be able to cope in the world. Right.
That's due to the parents that I had. Like, I was given a lot of the tools and investment that I needed in the beginning.
In your childhood?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but I still grew up on 46th Street, so the cool thing to do was be in the streets. And that's where all the girls were. That's where all the money was. That's where all the cars were. So
although you came from a good upbringing,
definitely,
both of your parents were married.
Still married.
The street still had an influence in your life.
I mean, my dad put his uniform on. It was a SEPTA uniform. You know, I see him waking up tired, getting in his car, going to work. Then I go to the corner and I see this dude wearing all the stuff I want to wear with all the girls in the Lex Coupe.
Talk about
it. And I'm like, I think I'm going to go with this one.
Yes.
Not really.
That one looks like prettier.
Right.
Yes.
But not really understanding, you know, what my parents were doing, how they were, you know, choosing to invest in the neighborhood in which we've been invested in for like 4 generations. Trying to keep the Black middle class in the hood and not be gentrified out of the hood. I didn't understand all that. And the fact that my dad could have did anything. He could have been successful and just went about his way. But he chose to provide us a foundation so that we can do better than him in the next generation.
Right.
And then the generation we birth can do better than us.
Right.
So I didn't understand all that. I forget what the question was, but
Good.
that's how
cool.
that began.
So let me ask you this. So for somebody who has just come home and they may have did 20 years, because I'm inspired by your story and Wallow's story. I'm inspired that you guys don't make excuses, that you go into the world and you figure it out and you're confident in yourself. And you're like, listen, I got to figure this out. Wallow the same thing. So when somebody say, oh, I can't do this because da-da-da, I'm like, I have friends that did 13 years in jail and 20 years in jail, and they're not making excuses. They're out here, despite everything that they've been through, they're trying to figure it out. And it's working for them. And it's working for them. They're progressing. And it may not be at a speed that they probably would like it to be, but there is progression happening. Right. So what would you say to a brother or a sister who is coming home? They've done 20 years in jail. What is the first thing? Like, what would you tell them? This is what you need to do. You need to do this. You need to do this. You need to do that. What would you say?
The first thing I say, take your time and be patient. Because, you know, the world's going to hit us fast. And as much as I thought I was ready for the world, it hit me fast. And before I know it, See, I'm a person that likes to move with purpose. I like to know what I'm doing before I do it.
Come on, talk about
And-
it. Talk about moving with purpose. Talk about it.
So when I was in there, I thought I knew what I wanted to do, but then when I came home and all options was back on the table, I had some decisions to make. Do I want to pick up? Do I want to grind again? Am I trying to be a millionaire? Am I trying to help the community? What am I trying to do again?
Purpose.
And in that
Purpose.
the shuffle got, I kind of got lost again because I had a lot of friends who were successful. And I found myself really trying to see where I could fit into their success versus saying, what is it that I'm trying to do in this world? And let me invest in that. Forget what anybody else is doing.
Come on.
So a couple years, I got slowed up because I was kind of looking for an opportunity instead of creating my own opportunity.
Talk about it.
So the first thing I would tell people is slow down and be patient. And take time to really figure out what it is. What's your purpose? What are you trying to do out
I
here?
could see why somebody would be so anxious though, because you set for 20 years. It was like, I gotta do this, I gotta do this, I gotta do that. And I noticed that a lot of the brothers, because I have a lot of male friends that I call my brothers, and some of them that has come home, they're like, I gotta.
Definitely.
I gotta.
I was
and
part of
chasing.
that. I could all that. I wanted the car. I wanted the crib. I wanted girls.
All in a week.
What
you wanted?
I thought I was going.
And the girls. All in a week. All in a week.
But I
Under
thought I
1
was gonna
week.
get that really in like 3 months. I was telling people like, man, by January I'm cool. I'm gonna have all that. They like, this boy done lost his mind.
Yeah.
But no, patience. You really got to take your time, and everybody got their own hand. Everybody got their own race to run. It's cool. You gonna have your winning season when you get your win. Hopefully, it's my winning season. I'm on these speech.
Talk at me. Shut up. Talk at me. Talk at me. Now, what about from a financial standpoint? Somebody who is coming home, they may have not been that skilled because the skill that they had was selling drugs,
Right.
and they was getting money back in the day. So now they're coming home. Things have drastically changed. The area that they may have been raised in. Let's say if it's Brewery Town, it was North Philly back then. Now it's Brewery Town. Everything's changing. The house that you grew up in was $25,000. Now that shit is worth $350,000. Like, what advice would you give them coming home from a financial standpoint, or just finding employment, getting some sort of revenue, being able to take care of all your adulting responsibilities?
Right. That's a great question. I think that everyone's reentry process is going to be different. The first thing you need to do is really educate yourself. And you gotta look at your financial situation. Are you coming home with people supporting you and providing for you until you can find your way, or do you got to hit the ground running from the door? One thing I would say is definitely give me a call, because that's what I do at the Enterprise Center, community engagement.
Oh, really? Do
yeah,
you?
for sure. I help.
Dope.
I'm in there helping the people. So yeah, you could call me direct 267-623.
Say that slower. So wait. So you are at the what center? What is it?
Oh, the Enterprise Center. So the Enterprise Center has been a nonprofit CDC, a lending institution in West Philly for a few decades.
Wow.
Since I was born, they've
I've
always
never
been
even
there.
heard of it. That's crazy.
Exactly. A lot of people haven't heard of it, but they finance a lot of these black businesses that we see going on in the city. They're the behind the scenes financing.
Get out of here.
For sure. And also they do a lot for the community members. Like every week we give out food on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 46 and Market.
Okay. You probably need to connect with Pert too.
We're
she
really
does a lot of community stuff.
Oh, that's what's up. Yeah. You same, West Philly. So and they really have a big 52nd Street initiative with making sure it's black, stays black, and that it comes back. In this heyday, it had 5 movie theaters on it. It really was the black main street of Philadelphia.
Was it?
Yeah, for sure. And
I'm getting educated. We're getting educated. That's dope. Okay, so your organization can help them find employment?
Oh, so excuse me. In particular, what I would do is I'm going to make sure if people call me. Like I met a brother the other day. Said he was homeless, sleeping in the park, just got out. Damn. Give him some money. Here goes my car. Call me. We're going to hook you up. We're going to get you somewhere to live.
Okay.
And, start to ingratiate
resources.
you back into. Yeah, for sure. But you said generally, what should somebody do?
Yeah.
It's actually easier to get a job than I would have ever imagined. I've really been helping a lot of people get jobs. But
even with records.
Yeah, everybody not gonna hire you. You're not gonna be able to be the top notch banker.
Right,
you know what I'm saying? You gotta start.
Right.
You gotta start where you gotta start from.
Right.
But you definitely gotta educate yourself. But you need to get with somebody that can help you craft a resume, and interviewing skills is something that even I needed before I could actually get a job. I needed to. I go in the room and I'm gonna start talking. I'm gonna come in there fresh and find a.
But you're blessed to be able to articulate, so that's a good thing too.
But what I'm saying is, even me needed that help. So that's something that we do need training on, how to craft a resume to shine and show. Even though I may not have an extensive work experience, I still have a lot of skills. It may be interpersonal skills, stuff like that.
Good.
So yeah,
super dope. So
it's actually. I'm sorry to cut you off. we really need a comprehensive program for people that's getting out, run by people who have already gotten out.
I agree.
And that's something that I'm interested in building.
I agree. Absolutely. Because you already know. You have the
Exactly.
skills, you already know. Listen, this is what it's going to be from everything that you automatically experience. You know what I'm saying? So that's a great idea. When you came home, in terms of credit and all of that kind of stuff, I know that you had some goals. How long, excuse me, how long did it take you to achieve those goals?
So for me, my story was this. I didn't really know how I was going to move. So I came home. A friend of mine, he had a rehab company, hired me, got a job, and then I had a cousin who had a bunch of disposable cash that he was looking to invest.
Okay.
So between the two, I was finding my place. In the middle of all that, I got recruited to get a job in DC. To help people transition when they get out. The offer was like $55K a year. Living
Not
in
bad.
DC,
Like,
right?
yeah.
Exactly. I was home a year and a half.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was like big time.
Talk heavy.
I was ready. I was excited. Plus, I love DC as a city.
Okay.
Went out there for an interview. Everything was going great. Maybe like a week or two later, I get the call because she had already told me I was hired, but I got the call to say we actually have to, renege our offer because there's a policy that you have to be home 3 years to go back into the prison.
Wow.
So my record hurt me. And by then I had already quit my job.
No.
Yeah, I quit my job. I moved into my apartment, and now I had all this money that I had to be spending out.
You never told me that.
Had bills.
You never told me that.
So I didn't. You
never told me.
Yo, you so dope. She used to call me, be blessing. Yo, you encouraging me. Keep going, King. She don't know. I might have had $50. I was on my legs.
Right when I called you was ready to tap out.
But I never gave you that energy neither. I tried my best never to. I was on go. But yeah, so
that's crazy because you never know what people are going through.
For sure. But I always believed in myself, even when it was at its lowest or the low, low. I just believed in myself. But what I did was, so I lost a job, I had a couple dollars saved up, and I didn't know what I was going to do. And what I ended up doing was taking out a loan and using that cash, because I'm like, all right, I'm going to flip cars, because that's what my youngest brother, he's known in the streets to like selling cars.
So you was able to get a loan?
I was able. So you asked me.
How you was able to get a loan?
Hear me out. You asked me about what should somebody do coming home?
Right.
Definitely, invest in repairing your credit and securing some money coming in, because with credit and a couple dollars, you could do anything.
Absolutely. And I try to tell people that all the time. I don't think they believe it. Not even that they don't believe it. I just think that they were never taught about it, never educated on it. So it's like, yeah, credit, yeah. But you really it really could change your life.
Of course. Just like home ownership. So I had learned, I was doing a lot of learning, and I saw how you could qualify for a mortgage, FHA loans, 3.5%, construction loans. So I was positioning myself for that. But when I lost the job, I was like, man, I'm betting on me. I just took out a loan, and I was like, I'm going to flip cars.
How much did they give you?
They offered me 20. I was like, if I can't flip 10, I don't deserve the money.
Okay.
So I took the 10 out. I wasn't no car salesman. I couldn't get out the car. I couldn't get out of the bed to sell no car. Just wasn't excited.
Let me ask you this. So you didn't, first of all, don't ever do that again.
Of course not.
If somebody is giving you 20 or 30,
take that 20.
The whole, Greg, we had a conversation about that before. He was like, sis, somebody told me, yeah, they wanted to give me 150. I said, no, I don't want 150. Just give me 25.
You be scared to death.
He said, Negro, if you got to pay on a 25, you're going to have to pay on a 152. What difference does it make?
Exactly.
Take the whole bag.
Exactly.
So you didn't take the 20.
Didn't take the 20. I took the 10. Bought all these cars. I was excited. Then it's like, yeah, you got to go to the junkyard. You got to get this. I'm like, all right, go to the junkyard. Go to the junkyard. You got to get it towed. Got to get it fixed. And I'm like, first of all, it's illegal anyway. You got to have a car lot, a car license, and all that to sell cars. So I'm doing all this stuff, and it's just not exciting. It's not tapping into my purpose. So every month, I was just watching that money dwindle,
serious?
because I really sank into a depression. This was like 2018. And I'm just like, yo, I don't know what I'm doing out here.
But
the
depression came from you just not knowing.
Not knowing what I'm like. What am I doing? What do I have to say into the world? There's a lot of things that I care
crazy
about,
because
I'm not doing anything.
But there are people that's going through that have never been incarcerated.
I realize
fall
that
into
too.
a depression because they don't know. A lot of people don't understand what their purpose is, and if you just take the time to be still, It will eventually come to you.
That's ultimately what I did. I really took the rest of that year after I tried the car thing again. I was trying to invest in real estate.
You ain't told me none of this, too.
None of this stuff.
You kept all this from me.
It was hard.
It's not a good friend. You're not a good friend. You're supposed to share.
You know what, though? Every time you call, you was giving me, you didn't know you was feeding me energy.
Okay.
And I used to do my best to give it back. If I needed you, I would have, if I needed somebody, but at the end of the day, I'm like, I can rely on myself. I can battle through this. I've been through it all.
Good for
you know what I'm saying? And I'm glad I went through that experience because it gave me the confidence no matter what I'm confronted with.
Right.
I'm figured, like you said, you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Yeah.
I remember when I interviewed you, when I started finding that purpose, that was one of the messages that you said. You was like, real, successful people, they got to figure it out. That's something we're going to have to learn to do.
That's it.
I'm like, that was
They
dope.
figure it out. They do. So one of the things too that you're doing that I think is amazing is you have this. Would you call it like a docuseries?
It's a docuseries.
It is. First of all, the first time that I saw it, Purple, you have to check it. Get out of here. You have to check this out. The first time that I saw it, I was so in awe. I started every contact in my phone that I felt that could like give you some sort of like put you on. I sent them the link because it was so dope to me. Really, I see it like on TV, on like big time TV, and I see it being something big.
For sure.
So I love that. What is it called again?
It's called Walkies, which is a prison term for like your best friend. While you
Right.
Because y'all walk everywhere together.
Right.
Like your cellie is who you live with in a cell. And,
Right.
So, but yeah, going towards the end of that year, like I was saying, I was lost. I was trying to find myself. And that's how I got into the whole docuseries thing. One of the things that I didn't like while I was incarcerated was the portrayal of somebody who had caught a case and was coming home and, felon, ex-con, all these words. I wasn't feeling that. So I wanted to, show the true story of somebody that made a mistake. They were lost, but they found themselves in prison. And ultimately, what do they do with that when they come out on the other side? So we filmed 5 different people at different stages of reentry, called it Walkies. And we put it out there. We released 2 episodes, and now we, about to release our 3rd.
Oh, you about to do another one?
Yeah, cool. I got 5 in total. Cool. I got 3 more.
Cool. But even like the production of it was like big time. I said, okay, she'll doing this thing. Right. I was so impressed with that. And I feel like it's so needed.
Right.
Like, why don't we expose stuff like that? Like, why doesn't that get exposure? Like, I feel like it could ultimately, first of all, it offers great perspective, but just encouragement too.
Definitely. I mean, that's what it was created for. So in terms of the production, it's funny because, this is when I was at the end. I was basically dead broke. And I found my production team from old school just networking. One guy I met at a screening, got to talking, told him what my vision was. He jumped on board. The other guy, I actually found him on Craigslist.
No way.
Real rap.
Did you really?
Put out a Craigslist ad. I'm in the crib, like you said, take that moment to be still.
Purpose,
I was still for months in the crib.
But listen, when you walking in purpose, alignment happens.
Definitely.
Come on, somebody.
Definitely. So I assembled the team. I told them what the vision was and was like, yo, just trust me. I'm going to find a bag. We're going to get paid for this, but this, we got to put this out there. And to their credit, they jumped on board, wasn't pressuring me, and put in the work. So we went out there, we filmed, and to their credit, that's why the production is at that level.
Yeah, it's awesome. So so basically, the universe aligned a team for you that was already qualified.
The team was qualified. They didn't just give them to me. I had to find them.
Right.
But then I assembled the team, and yes, after that, the guy, God blessed me with people who already.
Y'all have to go and check out this docuseries.
And that's Walkies on YouTube. Yeah.
Walkies on YouTube. Super duper 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 good. So now, where do you see yourself going now in terms of reaching some of your goals? Do you know what your purpose is at this point? Do you know how you're going to? Well, actually, you're utilizing your purpose now. But what does it look like for Shu in the next 3 to 5 years?
I think this is another thing that, in terms of reentry, I would like to say that you don't have to have it all figured out. It's hard to have it all figured out, today. And that's what keeps a lot of us from moving because I don't know where to go.
But guess what? I don't even want to have it all figured out because if I don't have something to work towards or grow towards, then I'm going to be stagnant. I want to learn. I tell people, I don't want to be the person that's not teachable. I always want to learn and grow. Right. So that's a good point that you said.
Yeah, so with that said, I'm enjoying the production. More people are reaching out for me to hire me to produce other things. Walkies, I see that being a national, program. I'm just right now excited to release episode 3. And but what I realize is that I need to go back into my neighborhood and see if I could save that next generation that followed up under us.
So
and
that's
it's out
your,
here shooting
that's your goal
everybody.
for the next.
So that's one of the reasons why, I actually took a job with the enterprise centers, because they're invested in that community. And because of what I've done in my past, it provides me a level of credibility with some of the dudes that's still out there operating. And I'm talking to them, telling them, do y'all know anybody that's making millions from selling drugs? They're like, no. I'm like, all right,
Or that made it to that without going to jail or dying.
Right. So, but to their
That's
credit,
a good point.
a lot of them know.
That's easy for a young kid to process that question.
Yeah, they like, there's no success out here, so why y'all out here? Well, I'm stuck in it. One young boy told me, he said it's like being in love. When you're in love with somebody, even though the relationship may be toxic, it's hard to just pull yourself out. So I feel, a sense of duty, not only for the people that I've hurt, but also just to them as I once was a role model to them, to go back and try to save them.
Okay.
So, that's what Walkies is about, and that's what everything I do is about.
Okay, awesome. So I thank you for your time, coming to bless the Neesh Speaks podcast. Because you all big time.
Yeah, you want to call my people after this. We up now.
We all the way up. But I thank you for your time. I'm super duper grateful. And good luck on your journey, everything. And of course, as always, anything I can do to help, you always got a hand from Maserati. Neesh.
Already know this. She's a queen right here. Has always all she does is celebrate people,
Thank
love on
you.
people,
Thank
support
you.
people, push
Thank
people.
you. I be trying
I love
out
you,
here.
Neesh.
I love
you.
you.
The queen
I
for
be
real.
I be trying
the
out
Oprah
here.
Philly.
I be trying out here. I be trying. But I thank you once again. You are tuned in into the Neesh Speaks podcast, where I am giving you financial games so that you can obtain financial gains. Go on Instagram, check out my boy Shoe Jet. Make sure you put the jet on it. I said Shoe Jet.
Just
Make
call
sure,
me Shoe.
just go on Instagram, check out my boy. Also check out his docuseries Walkies. Thank you for stopping in. Maserati Neesh, I'm loving on y'all. We
Neesh Speaks.
Yeah.